Hey, good morning, everybody. Um, oh, wow. Okay. I knew today was going to be rough. But yeah, it's looking rougher than I thought. So, last night was one of those nights where at 2:30 in the morning, I was up. I was just up. So, yeah, finally fell asleep at about, I don't know, 4:45, somewhere in there. And yeah, I'd rather be sleeping right now. Okay, we can do this, right? We can do this. All right. Okay, let me just get situated here. We're going to get started. All right. I think I'm good. I think I'm good. All right, we are on day 26. So, yeah, we've got, because we're off a little bit by a day, so I think we've now got 5 days left, 4 days left. I mean, it's a 30-day challenge, but we're off a day, so I think we go to 31. We'll find out in a minute. Okay, let's quickly review all the different habits, like main habits that we've been talking about. We did wade into the water. We didn't. Sorry. First one was flip the script. Then we did kiss the wave, eat the frog, fly the kite, cut the rope, and now we're on wind the clock. And we are on today's in wind the clock habit. We're on do the math. And before we jump into that, remember in our introduction, we haven't read this for a while, but remember way back in the introduction, we talked about this, and I want to read this for myself. This may seem like a self-help book, but I promise you, this is so much more. At the end of the day, your habits aren't just about you. They're all about loving God, loving others. Bad habits can have a negative impact, an epigenetic effect to the third and fourth generations. You don't break bad habits just for you. You do it for your kids and your grandkids. Morning, Nancy. Okay, so today, when I would much rather still be in bed, doesn't happen very often, but today, we think about the third and fourth generations, right, who are going to be affected by our decisions today. Thank you, Lord. Okay, let's read our Do It for a Day manifesto. I think I was also going to read this every day too. Almost anyone can accomplish almost anything if they work at it long enough, hard enough, and smart enough. Destiny is not a mystery. Destiny is daily habits. It's mind over matter, nurture over nature. It's a daily grind in the same direction. If you want every day to count, count the days. If you want to change your life, change your story. If you want God to do the super, you've got to do the natural. Time is measured in minutes. Life is measured in moments. Bury dead yesterdays. Imagine unborn tomorrows. Make every day a masterpiece. If you do little things like they're big things, God will do big things like they're little things. If you stay humble and stay hungry, there's nothing God can't do in or through you. Show me the size of your dream, and I'll show you the size of your God. Show me your habits, and I'll show you your future. The obstacle is not the enemy. The obstacle is the way. Do the best you can with what you have where you are. Dream big, start small, think long. Can you do it for a day? That's the question, and you know the answer. Habits happen one day, one step, one rep at a time. If you want to walk on water, you have to get out of the boat. Faith is taking the first step before God reveals the second step. Wade into the water. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Do it for a day. All right, let's jump in. Do the math. Our scripture reference for today is Psalm chapter 90, verse 12. Teach us to number our days. Okay, let's just get this out of the way. There are some wonker words in this chapter. I've already skimmed it, so just no judgment, especially today. Okay. In 1948, Korczak Ziolkowski was commissioned by Lakota Chief Henry Standing Bear to design a mountain carving that would honor the famous Native American leader, Crazy Horse. Ziolkowski devoted more than 3 decades to carving the larger-than-life statue. For the record, it's 9 times larger than the faces on Mount Rushmore. When Ziolkowski died in 1982, the family carried on his vision and continues to carve. The projected completion date is 2050, just shy of the century mark. When your life is over, said Korczak, the world will ask you only one question. What is it? Did you do what you were supposed to do? If you want to wind the clock, you have to answer that question. What is it? Did you do what you were supposed to do? There never has been and never will be anyone like you. That's not a testament to you. It's a testament to the God who created you. The significance of that is this. No one can lead like you or for you. No one can love like you or for you. No one can worship like you or for you. Simply put, no one can take your place. That makes you invaluable and irreplaceable. Are you doing what you're supposed to do? If you can't answer that question posed by Korczak, it may be time for a timeout. You have to define success, as we talked about on day 8. You have to define your purpose and your priorities. You have to define the values and virtues that you want to be known for. If you pursue habit formation for selfish reasons, you're shortchanging yourself and the habit will be short-lived. You have to imagine the prize by aiming at the end game. You have to know who you are and why you are. You have to live for something bigger, better, longer, and stronger than self-interest. Remember David Horsiger, who lost 52 pounds? His father is still farming in his 90s. When Horsiger asked him why he was planting things he may never get to harvest, he didn't skip a beat. Somebody will enjoy it someday. Do you have any life goals that will take a lifetime to achieve? If you don't, it's time to dream a little bigger and think a little longer. Have you ever stopped to consider the size and scope of Noah's Ark? It ranks as one of the largest, and longest construction projects in the ancient world. From start to finish, it took 43,800 days. The ark measured 300 cubits in length, 50 cubits in width, 30 cubits in height. In the Hebrew system of measurement, a cubit was the equivalent of 17.5 inches. That means the ark was the length of 1.5 football fields. Not until the late 19th century did a ship that size get constructed again. Yet the 30:5:3 design ratio is still considered the gold standard for stability during storms at sea. The volume of the ark was 1,518,750 cubic feet, the equivalent of 569 boxcars. If the average animal was the size of a sheep, the ark had the capacity for 125,000 animals. To put that into perspective, there are 2,000 animals from 400 species at the Smithsonian's National Zoo in Washington, D.C. You could fit 60 national zoos on board Noah's Ark. Wow. Noah deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award, but let me reverse engineer his process. Do you know how he started building the boat? According to rabbinic tradition, the first thing Noah did was to plant trees. Why? Given the size of the boat, He knew he'd need plenty of planks. Winding the clock is doing the math, and it's one key to imagining the prize. Remember the two watches that we wear? Chronos and Kairos. We can make great time and waste our lives away. If we succeed at the wrong thing, we failed. We've got to make sure we're doing the right thing the right way at the right time. The average person spends 145 minutes on social media every day. Are you above average or below average? That adds up to 15% of our waking hours. Is that how you want to spend 15% of your life? Quit living vicariously and start actually living. Make pre-decisions that will help you manage the minutes and moments better. I live by a little maxim. Don't accumulate possessions, accumulate experiences. I haven't met many people possessed by a demon, but I've met lots of people possessed by their possessions. Quit accumulating possessions and start accumulating experiences. One way I put this into practice is by doing an annual challenge or going on an annual adventure. Calendaring is choice architecture, is it not? It's one way we imagine unborn tomorrows. There is a word in the dictionary that gets used about as much as Beemanesque. It's the word macabre-ish, and you probably have no idea what it means unless you've majored in English literature. It's taken from the Charles Dickens novel, David Copperfield. One of the characters, Wilkins Micawber, has a catchphrase, "If anything turns up." On the verge of getting out of debtor's prison, he says, "I shall, please heaven, begin to live in a perfectly new manner, if, in short, if anything turns up." Juxtapose that with this. I have a friend named Marcus Bullock who made a mistake as a teenager, a big mistake. Marcus carjacked someone when he was 15. He was tried as an adult and he spent the next 8 years in prison. But Marcus took the opposite approach to Micawber. He read books. He learned computer languages. Marcus was released when he was 23, but he had a hard time getting a job because of the felony on his record. Marcus applied for 41 jobs. All of them asked whether he had a felony, and he had to give an honest answer. Finally, he applied for a job that asked whether he'd committed a felony in the previous 7 years. Marcus had been locked up for 8, so the honest answer was no. He got a job at a paint store, and he parlayed that into his own contracting company. Marcus is now the founder of Flickshop, a company that helps families send picture postcards to loved ones in prison. Why? Because it was the pictures his mom sent him that helped him keep his sanity. Those pictures wound the clock. How? She sent him a picture of a hamburger and said, "Someday you'll eat this on the outside." She sent him a picture of a mattress and said, "Someday you'll sleep on this." Objectively speaking, those pictures may not be as remarkable as the Waldorf Astoria, but they are just as meaningful, and they served the same function. Those pictures helped Marcus tip the cap and wind the clock. They kept his focus, getting out of prison, front and center. There are two kinds of people in the world, those who let things happen and those who make things happen. There are those who find time and those who make time. There are those who waste time and those who wind the clock. Are you Micawber or are you Marcus? There's an old adage, time is money. Which do you spend more carefully, time or money? Truth be told, a lot of us waste a lot of time. So let's do a little audit. The average lifespan is 79 years, which is 28,835 days. The average person spends 26 years in bed and an additional 7 years trying to fall asleep. My advice, get a good mattress. We spend 4,821 days at work, 4,127 days looking at screens. 1,583 days eating, and 368 days socializing. Fun fact, we spend 115 days laughing. Wow. According to researchers at the University of California, the average worker is interrupted every 11 minutes. Those same workers regain focus after 25 minutes. Do the math, and it adds up to a focus problem. Of course, some of those interruptions are self-inflicted. Again, we check our phones 96 times per day. Did you know that your phone has a do not disturb function? Use it or lose it. Part of time management is identifying time wasters. They're the barren fig trees that you need to curse. They aren't producing fruit. What are those barren fig trees? Unnecessary meetings that produce sideways energy. An overwhelming number of emails that make you feel like you're sinking in quicksand. A lack of priorities that result in more commitments than you can keep. Most of us are guilty on all three accounts. The psalmist said, "Teach us to number our days." That principle has lots of applications. If you want every day to count, count the days. One way I do that is by numbering the days I've been inhaler free. As I note in the book Win the Day, Buzz Williams keeps track of the number of days he's held his current coaching position. Whatever habit that you're trying to make or break, counting the days helps you keep track of the winning streak, which is why we have that commitment device. So how do I make it a habit? Audit your time. I'm often asked how long it takes to write a book. There isn't an easy answer, especially if you count reading as research. But let me try to reverse engineer my process. I use my birthday, November 5th, as a start date. I use Super Bowl Sunday as a deadline. I usually bracket that writing season with a 3-day writing retreat on the front end and the back end. I still wear my pastor hat, but I do less teaching and I don't take meetings that aren't NCC related. I average 4 writing days per week and I get 10 to 12 hours of writing in. Wow. 10 to 12 hours of writing in. That adds up to approximately 550 hours of writing time. Of course, that doesn't include reading or research. Let me add more to that mix. One more thing. During a writing season, I set my alarm clock a little earlier in the morning. It's not easy getting up before the sun is up, but that's when I do the math. As I see it, the books I author are my way of spending about 5 or 6 hours with anyone, anytime, anywhere. The Circle Maker ranks as my best-selling book. If you multiply the number of copies sold by average reading time, it adds up to 1,741 years. We're approaching 2 millennia of reading time, which is a pretty good return on an investment of 550 hours. Doing the math motivates me to get up early. It helps me establish boundaries and priorities. Doing the math is more than a Jedi mind trick. It's good stewardship. All of us trade our time for something. You trade time for a paycheck. You trade time for relationships. You trade time for the experiences that you accumulate. Along with figuring out the barren fig trees, you have to identify the money trees. By money trees, I mean the things that produce the greatest return on time investment. For me, one of those things is writing. There is an old axiom, a place for everything and everything in its place. And the same is true of time. That's why I designate different days for different purposes. Tuesday is a meeting day. Wednesday and Thursday are study days if I'm speaking. Monday is a rest day, my Sabbath. It's not a perfect science, I promise you that. And I get interrupted as much as everyone else. But designating certain days for certain functions gets me into the right mindset and helps me focus on the task at hand. If I check email too early in the day, it feels like that's all I do all day long. Sure, there are days when I need to empty out my inbox in order to clear my mind, but I also try to clear my calendar. That allows me to follow different ideas, wherever the rabbit trail takes me. During a writing season, I turn those rabbit trails into chapters. We all manage time a little differently, but there is one common denominator among those who actually get things done intentionally. Oh, intentionality. Okay, that's the common denominator among people who get things done. Intentionality. They don't spend time, they invest time like it's their 401k. Do the math. All right. I like that. Being intentional. That is my, I don't know if that's my word for the year, but it's because it's been longer than just this January that I've been focused on that. But it's a good thing for all of us to think about in all the different areas. And don't get overwhelmed when you hear a lot of these tips and tricks and you feel like, oh, I need to do that. And then you think, where do I start? Because if you haven't been doing this at all, managing your time, all of these things that he talked about, it can be a little overwhelming, but just start with one thing. And then it just sort of snowballs after that. All right. So that was day 26. We are on the last lap, you guys. And it's hard. It just goes by so quick. Hard to believe 30 days has already almost come and gone. All right. Oh, I see we got a few people on here. Hello, Fazia. Hello, Ujwal. I know I'm not pronouncing your names right. Hi, Gary. Yeah, you're going to be probably headed for your sleep here pretty soon too. All right. Blessings to you guys. Enjoy your Friday today. I will be on the weekend as normal. And I'm not sure what day actually will be our last day next week, like maybe Wednesday, something like that. Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday. So enjoy your Friday and whatever plans you have for the weekend. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early.